Horror movies often get criticized pretty harshly, especially when it comes to the slasher genre. These movies are often called bland, unoriginal, and only good for jump scares and lots of gore. While that may be true for some slashers, I feel like the genre gets a bad rap, and you'd be surprised how subtle a movie about a crazy person with a knife can actually be. Like, what if I told you many of these horror movies are statements on gender roles? Don't believe me? Then let me explain my thoughts in the first episode of A Fresh Look. Fair warning, given the nature of this topic, there will be some graphic imagery and some explicit content. With that all said, everything in slashers is a penis. This represents a penis, this represents a penis, and well, this one should have been obvious. Let me explain. Let's start with one of the most well-known slashers, 1978's Halloween. While Halloween is not the first slasher, it is credited with popularizing the genre. Let's take a look at our villain, Michael Myers, a large burly man with a kitchen knife as his main weapon. Compared to our main lead, Laurie Strode, a kind-hearted young adult female, played by the great Jamie Lee Curtis. Now, what's important here is not so much Laurie, but her friends. In the film, everyone takes part in sex, drugs, underage drinking, and every other bad decision your parents told you not to do as a kid, except for Laurie.
The old Girl Scout comes through again.
This leads to Michael killing everyone, except for Laurie.
I'll kill you if this is a joke.
She evades Michael and even takes his weapon to use against him. Audiences related to Laurie so much she's known as the original final girl, a term referring to the final survivor in a horror movie the killer just can't quite get to. Now, Halloween is a great movie with a really fun ending, but what does this have to do with our metaphor? Well, let's look at it this way. Michael's weapon represents his masculinity. And this is why the filmmakers chose to give him a phallic-shaped weapon, like a knife. He uses his weapon to assert dominance and power over others, until he is confronted by our female lead that takes this power away from him. She takes his masculinity and uses it against him. Now, you may think this is a reach, but this is not the only slasher with this format. With Friday the 13th, Jason's machete is similar to Michael's knife, only bigger. It's okay, Michael. Size is not everything. Scream's Ghostface and the killer doll Chucky both primarily choose a knife. Leatherface's chainsaw from Texas Chainsaw Massacre could be seen as phallic. Even movies like Slumber Party Massacre, the killer's main weapon is a drill. I joked about it earlier, but even the xenomorph's head from Alien may be a stylistic choice. Especially when you look at the film's main character Ripley, a strong female character whose arc is about her rising above her station despite her co-workers' disdain. Halloween and Alien are not the only horror movies with this character dynamic. Ginny Field in Friday the 13th Part 2, Sidney Prescott in Scream, Nancy Thompson in A Nightmare on Elm Street. Each of these characters, and more, have a similar story. They start off weak, but through the course of the movie, they become able to stand on their own against their male pursuer. Many of these pursuers with pointed or straight weapons. However, one movie takes this formula in the opposite approach, and that's 1987's Hellraiser. The main monster in Hellraiser are the Cenobites, or Pinhead, as many of the fans called their leader. The sexual metaphor in Hellraiser is very apparent, so much that it may be inaccurate to call it a metaphor.
Come to daddy.
What sets the Cenobites apart from the other killers I've mentioned is the monster's weapon is not pointed or straight, it is the box, which represents a different kind of genitalia. The box is a magic device that can summon these creatures into our world. Its design is no coincidence in a movie like Hellraiser. The film is about sex, and the line between pain and pleasure.
That's what makes the pleasure so sweet.
This point is made even further with the Hellraiser remake that shows Pinhead with a more feminine design. So now that you start to see the pattern, what does this mean? Are slasher movies trying to spread a message about female empowerment? Is this a secret way to say all men are evil killers? Or is it a way to show off strong female characters when most other movie genres like comedies and action movies primarily have male leads? Honestly, there is no right or wrong answer. Everything is always up to speculation. But I want the point of this video to be that these slasher movies are more than just an excuse for jump scares and a high kill count. Some of these deserve to be looked at with a more critical lens. So the next time you see the newest slasher movie come to theaters, don't write it off immediately. There just might be something underneath the surface, other than mounds of fake blood.